y'all, it's Hope at Crafty Hope, and I have a jewelry tutorial for you today. So let me start by telling you what we're using. I have a metal tassel, 8 little beads, a filigree bead cap. That's the main component, so that's the most important thing. I had 8 balled end head pins, a flat brass bead that matches. Any kind of spacer bead would work with this. A fishhook ear wire. And I also have up there, I didn't point it out, but it's about a 4 to 6 inch length of 20 or 22 gauge wire. And then my jewelry pliers. I'm using some flush cutters, some chain nose pliers, and some round nose pliers. Now I'm showing you this bead cap. Like I said, it's the main component for this, and that's because I'm using it to hang some small charms from. Now it's important to use a bead cap that has little loops around the outside. I did count how many loops were on my bead cap, and there are 8, and that's why I have 8 head pins and 8 beads. Now the main skill you need in this is how to make a wrapped loop. Now, I have a whole tutorial on how to do that and ways you can use wrap loops, but I'm going to go through wrap loops a couple times in this, so you probably won't need that tutorial, but if you do, I'll put a link up in the right corner of this video for you so you can find that. All right, as you saw, I put my bead on one of the head pins and I slid it down to the end, and using my round nose pliers, I made a loop. I bent it and made a loop, and then I opened that loop and I have slid it on one of the little loops hanging off of my bead cap. Now I'm going to close the loop I made with the head pin and then wrap the end of the head pin around the little bit of stem that's still visible above the bead. Then I'm going to trim that with my flush cutters and tuck the end of that wire in. I'm going to do it one more time in just a minute so you can see that, but I'm not going to show you all 8 wraps. That I didn't feel that y'all needed that much information. So let me go ahead and say that this project was inspired by seeing several artists use bead caps in this manner before. Most notably and most recently was Moos van Me on her blog. She's a Dutch artist and she posts a lot of jewelry tutorials on her blog, and it inspired me to try making these. What makes them extra fun is the metal tassel that I'm using. And y'all, I upcycled that metal tassel. It was part of, I think, some not safety pins, paper clips from a Tuesday morning, I think, somewhere like that. And I saw those metal tassels and was like, I have to use them in jewelry. So I encourage you to keep your eye out for the unexpected and different things, check in that office supplies section, look in your recycling. There's always something fun to be found that you can turn into something beautiful. All right, so here is that second bead dangle that I have created here. And once I get that on there, that's all I'm going to show you on this one. And also you'll get to see the completed bead cap with all the beads on it here in just a second. There it is. It's pretty cool, y'all. And at the end of this, it's going to have so much movement because it has all those dangles on it. So I'm going to take that little length of wire I've got there, and that's probably way more wire than I absolutely need. But what we're going to do is we're going to create another wrapped loop on which to put that tassel I was just talking about. So I'm going to start by, and y'all, I'm doing this super slow. I didn't speed anything up because I wanted y'all to get a good look at what I'm doing. But I made my loop there and I'm opening it up just enough. I'm trying to get it good and wide because the wider I open it up, the more room it's going to have to slip that tassel on. And look, that's got so much movement too. I've got a little video at the end of these earrings in action so you can see how much movement they have. So once I've slipped that tassel on, I am going to wrap that tail around my wire and then trim it and tuck it just like I did with the other little ones. Actually, I may not trim this one. I'm trying to remember. I do trim it. Okay. Couldn't remember. But once that is trimmed, I'm going to tuck it just to kind of, I like to tuck my wires because I don't like any kind of metal wire pokiness coming up. These are going to be hidden under the bead cap, but I still, for the safety of whoever ends up with these, I'd prefer to have all that metal tucked away safely. So I'm going to insert the end of that wire into the center hole of the bead cap, making sure that the bead cap is domed downward so that those dangles hang just right. And I'm going to top it with that little spacer type bead. And that just gives me a surface um, to wrap on top of so that I don't damage that filigree in any way. And now I'm going to make another wrapped loop, y'all. I told y'all that is the main skill you need in this one, is just some creativity and the skill to make a wrapped loop. So there, I've made my loop and I am not attaching it to anything this time. So I'm going to go straight into wrapping the end of my wire around. And like I said, I have far too much wire in here. But when it comes to wire like this, I try to have a little bit more than I actually need just to make sure I have enough, because I'd rather not be short on it. And so I'm going to push that wire in, trim it, and tuck it just like I have on all the other ones, trying to keep it from being too pokey. And to finish this, I'm just going to open that ear wire, the loop on the ear wire, and slip it on to the loop we've made at the top of our fun dangle. And that's going to be it to make these earrings, y'all. Super quick, easy, so much fun. If you like this, please make sure to give me a thumbs up and to subscribe. It would mean the world to me, for reals. And if you have any questions about this process or my inspiration or the materials, if I don't have it down in the description box below, just give me a shout. I am happy to answer those questions for you. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for watching, and keep on crafting on. Bye.